Hello and welcome to another video edition of my newsletter, which is AI versus Marshy, where I chart the impact of AI as it starts to transpire and unfold in our lives, pretty much since the advent of the language learning models and generative AI. And yeah, we're up to 55 odd editions now. This is edition 56. And in case you missed it, Bulldogs beat Sydney, who are top of the table in the AFL, getting late stages in the season, and it's looking like we might be hitting finals and going deep, which I'm getting very, very excited about as a die-hard Western Bulldogs fan. But let's talk about AI. So you can go visit my website, and you can go to lukemarshall.net and just go /newsletter. I click on the newsletter section. And this is the run through of the current edition, but you can also see other editions. Like, you can subscribe, or you can just, browse at your will, at your leisure, and hear what I'm talking about and see if it's for you before subscribing. And so this week I covered 3 different topics. The first of which was copy.ai, which is one of the original sort of generative writing tools. I was onto it pretty early and pretty impressed with the tech. I haven't used it recently though, and they recently announced a partnership with Anthropic, which I want to dig into. There's another AI newsletter that I reckon definitely worth checking out. It's called Ai5, and I'll talk a bit more about that. And then the good, bad, and ugly examples of chat built into app. I want to rant about this a bit, so you've been warned. Cool. The first thing though is copy.ai is an AI writing tool, uses generative AI and other tools to sort of help you with your copywriting. And what I like about copy.ai, it's positioning. It's very much marketer focused, and even since I last used it, it's gone to go to market focus. Very aligned with sort of what sales and marketing teams are trying to do in modern day. And so I thought, well, they've announced this partnership with Anthropic. I should give it a look to see if it knows what my brand voice is, and sort of have a play with it again and compare it to what ChatGPT and other tools can do. And so I gave it a couple of my LinkedIn posts, and if you follow me on LinkedIn, I've definitely got a style. But I actually think it sort of hit the nail on the head, like authentic, relatable, conversational, insightful. This brand's voice is like a friend who's been there, done that, is ready to share the wisdom gains from their experiences. The tone is casual yet informative, with a dash of humor and self-deprecation that makes it feel like you're chatting with a buddy over coffee. Probably describes my style to a T. I used ChatGPT to compare, and ChatGPT was pretty similar, and then basically tried to give it another example. So I said, here's my very rough draft of my newsletter. If you had to use my voice and then turn it into a newsletter, what would you do? Copy AI and ChatGPTs, they weren't any better. And the interesting one, I haven't used much of it yet, but I chucked in Gemini into the mix as well. And, fair enough, my prompts are crappy. One thing that comes across from my style of voice, though, is that I'm always excitable. And so Gemini went probably over-indexed on this. There was 12 exclamation marks in the copy. And this just reminds me of that episode of Seinfeld, which, where Elaine gets told off for using too many exclamation marks. Seinfeld is definitely an older person's reference. I talk to young people, or try to talk to young people at Seinfeld, and it doesn't register. I think what this point sort of illustrates, though, a meta point maybe, is these side by sides where you're comparing this model versus this model and benchmarking. It's a trap for young players, to be honest. Like, you don't need to do it. For all intents and purposes, 95% minimum of us AI users are common normies who are using generative AI. It doesn't matter if you're using one model over another. I definitely know the premium models work better than others. Some are much better at sort of scouring the web and research, but for all intents and purposes, pick one and run with it. There's actually the differentiating and benchmarking for most people. It's just EP measurement. That's my take. That's my spicy take. I don't see the merit in it at all. If you want something impressive, I spoke to a gentleman named Farouz recently, and he and his engineering team built something with Vertex. And Vertex is an enterprise level AI from Google. And what he did was built essentially a knowledge base that lets him query everything in his Google Drive, which could be videos, snippets, files, everything. But because Vertex and the way he's built it, its context window is epic. It's actually like what I sort of want my AI to be at end state, where I can reference something, connect the dots here and connect the dots here. According to Farouz and the way he's built it, the way it can reference things is just light years ahead of sort of what current, say, consumer gen tech can do with AI. So yeah, there's a good use case. A few weeks ago, I started getting more subscribers than usual. I've got a steady organic trickle. I realized Matt at Ai5 had started punting some love my way. I said, Matt, I'm going to punt love your way as well. I checked out his newsletter. It's actually very, very practical and short and succinct. And so what I like about Ai5 is that it's like, hey, here's the things you can use today. Stuff like a mid-journey photorealistic cheat sheet, better ways to prompt, and it's very easy to follow. So you can subscribe. He's doing editions every Monday and Thursday, and an Aussie guy too. So he used to be an aerospace engineer and started this. So I highly recommend checking it out. It doesn't show here. It showed on the email a video of LinkedIn. When you pay for LinkedIn Premium, you get prompts like AI prompts on ways to comment. Like I need that, and I just think the point I'm making here is that chat and apps, just bolting it on, it's just gross. It's not a good experience at all. I haven't spoken to anyone that's repeatedly using the AI tools built into Meta, WhatsApp or Instagram. It just seems out of place. Happy to be proven wrong. Please tell me your use cases. I don't think just adding AI onto products is a really worthy feature. A good example of it being done well is Zapier. Zapier is a standard automation tool, and say you wanted something like, hey, I want to connect my Slack to Trello so that every time a calendar appointment comes through on my Google, I get an alert and becomes a card to action. And you just say that into Zapier and it will give you the recipe for building that automation. I think that is a good example of chat and AI. Airtable have recently had a go at this as well. They call it a co-builder. I'm not really feeling Airtable apps. I love Airtable as a product. I just struggle with this interface or how to do anything useful. But yeah, I think that just adding AI on things ship as sailed if it was ever there, avoid. So yeah, that's it for me this week. My sprinting with the lead magnet biz is now over. I'm changing my positioning up and I've got a partner now to target more early B2B startup founders and essentially offering my coaching services to work with them to bolster their sales, marketing, hiring and sort of growth systems. And more to that to come, but yeah, we'll be releasing a campaign and some marketing around this over the next weeks to come. And that's really exciting for me as a consultant wanting to do more of the coaching. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to subscribe, you can at lukemarshall.net/newsletter. And just one last shout out. This is an Aussie startup based over in Perth. Deep tech, hardcore science, basically trying to build plastic alternatives with biodegradable materials. Ulu. Check it out because they've started turning up their marketing a little bit. I was sort of onto them really early and an early subscriber list, and there wasn't anything they're releasing, but they are now. And I think it's a really great positioning, a great message, of converting, turning seaweed into some form of hard composite like plastic. It's obviously beyond my world, but it sounds amazing, and I think it's a startup worth following. Cool. That's it. Thanks for watching if you watched this point. And you can subscribe to these if you want the written form at lukemarshall.net/newsletter. Thanks.